Larian Studios held a Q&A recently on Reddit, and they answered a lot of your guys' questions on Baldur's Gate 3. But the question of the week goes to Reddit user Horny Snorlax, and he asked, "Are y'all hiring?" Welcome back, guys, and cheers to Horny Snorlax in hopes that he got the job at Larian Studios. I'm sure he's a very, very bright individual. So I did do a part 1 to this video. The link to that will be directly below. And in this video, we're going to cover the remaining questions and answers that we did not get to in part 1. Now, we're not going to get into any details or discussion on the questions and answers in this video. I'm just going to go over them, for there's a lot to get through. But if you're new to this stuff, just stay tuned on the channel, for I will continue to keep releasing more beginner-friendly content. If you guys end up enjoying this video, please subscribe, for there's a lot more Baldur's Gate 3 content on the way. I really appreciate it. Let's get right into it. Can we create custom vampire spawn characters? No, currently not. Will Warlock patrons have a large narrative weight in the story? Just like Cleric gods and Paladin gods, the Warlock patron is a variable we know of and can react to. Currently, they introduce dialogue options and voice barks. More is possible, but not planned for the Early Access Act. Can half-drow grow beards like other half-elves? Can you believe that none of us here at the table actually know? We need to ask the mustache people if they planned it. I think the concern here is that people felt that playing DOS 2 as a non-origin character was somewhat pointless because they would miss out on quite a few dialogue options and would have substantially less storyline. This was especially true if you were playing co-op, because each person who made a custom character decreased how much you could interact with even companion stories. Will there be more storyline for custom characters than what we saw in DOS 2? Perhaps something akin to Dragon Age Origins origin characters? This isn't DOS 2. In Baldur's Gate 3, custom characters have a much stronger connection to the world and the main arc of the story, whether they're from Baldur's Gate, further afield, or somewhere else entirely. Hey, Githyanki. The campaign is much more reactive to your actions. When we say there are serious consequences to your choices, we really mean it. And as you move through your adventure, you'll discover quest lines and stories that relate directly to the character you're role-playing and the things that you've done. We're confident that you won't feel shortchanged in terms of narrative breadth and depth. If you choose to play as a custom character, we love our origins, but this campaign is built for all of you. Now, in part 1, someone asked if there'll be more to the custom character creation, and they said yes. And this guy further pushes the question to ask, will we have sliders for lots of different features on the face, body, etc., being able to make a customized character appearance? Larian responded with, you will be able to select a face type, hairdo, facial hair, skin color. I cannot give numbers or details because it's still a work in progress, but there will not be sliders. Then another Reddit user pushed the question even further and said, I hope there will be more hairstyles. Larian responded with, we have more diversity in creation than in any other game we've done before. You'll be able to mix and match a wide variety of defaults to create something unique. Will locations be act-based? Example, a location can be accessed only in Act 1 and not in Act 2. Every good story has a beginning, middle, and end, is how Larian responded. Will there be party banter among companions? If so, will they be in dialogue mode, like the originals, or will they just say out their lines during exploration, like the Dragon Age series? We have both types. Of course they'll comment and react. They will banter while just walking around. We call these voice barks and AD for automatic dialogues. But they will also react to what you and your party are doing and not doing in dialogues and when you go to camp. It has been previously stated that Larian has been working with Wizards of the Coast to make Baldur's Gate 3 a close approximation of 5e. Will any of the new materials created by Larian eventually be adopted by Wizards of the Coast in future sourcebooks? Example, races that are playable in Baldur's Gate 3 but are not official in 5e. Did Wizards of the Coast encourage Larian to use materials not yet available to the public? Larian responded with, that's really a question for Wizards of the Coast. Now, this Reddit user asked the owner of Larian Studios, what makes Baldur's Gate for you personally? What are its qualities that resonate with you? Swen replied with, I replayed Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 when we started on this, and the same things that stood out back then still stand out today. The sense of being on an epic quest with a party of interesting companions, which I need to keep happy, the promise that there's something to be discovered everywhere I go, the sense that I'm someone special in this world and make a difference, and a lot of, oh, that's cool. I think I appreciate it even more now than I did back in the days. So this question was definitely in the part 1 video, but I want to say it again because the question was further elaborated on. Will all 5e classes be available at launch? Yes, all classes from the 5e Player's Handbook will be included at launch. In early access, you'll be able to play as a cleric, fighter, ranger, rogue, warlock, or wizard. Then the question was asked, does that include paths and subclasses, etc.? And they replied yes. How will the short rest, long rest systems work in the game for hit dice, spell slots, item enchantments, and the like, or will there be a different system in place for it? To take a long rest, the whole party needs to go to the camp and spend the night there. This will restore and reset any features normally tied to a long rest in 5e, and also give the party a moment to reflect on recent events. A lot happens at the camp, more on that later. For the short rest, we consider the peacetime between combat encounters as taking a short rest. Good to know. So will warlocks regain all spell slots between combat encounters? Because warlocks, unlike other spellcasters, regain all their spell slots with a short rest instead of a long rest. Yes, they will regain all their spell slots between combat encounters. I might have done this question in part 1, I can't remember. This next question is kind of funny. Where is Volo's beard and is there a quest to retrieve it? Larian responded with, it froze off. Seriously though, his custom head wasn't quite ready for the presentation build, but don't worry, he will look like Volo. How will our character's background affect his or her story? In a lot of dialogue backgrounds, race and class determine what options you are going to get. A Githyanki or Drow, for instance, will get a very different experience than an elf. In the demo Swen gave at PAX, he encountered a companion named Shadowheart. The entire conversation goes completely different if you approach her as a Githyanki because she's had experience with the Gith before. Things like this permeate throughout the entire game. It's true to say that no one playthrough is ever like another person's, so if you look at it like that, the background and the choices you make create a completely unique story. How freely will our parties be able to move along the Sword Coast? How many different cities, settlements can we expect to find? How will travel be represented? It's too early to reveal where you'll be going and who you'll be meeting, but exploration in and around Baldur's Gate is a key part of the game. Will extra attack work the same way it does in 5e? Yes. In Baldur's Gate 2, you go to De Arnais Keep. Forgive me if I pronounce that wrong. In the basement, there are a bunch of Umber Hulks, and if you go in and put dog meat in a certain place, it lures the Umber Hulks and you can lock them in, then you get a bunch of experience for doing it. Has creatively solving problems by following hints given throughout the game like this been a major focus in the development of Baldur's Gate 3? In Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, it seemed like at points throughout the game it was a focus, but it wasn't as common as I would like it to be. I prefer the sneaky problem solving over the hack and slash problem solving. I guess I'm lawfully aligned in real life or something. Larian responded with, regarding creative solutions, our world is really a simulation, held together by rules and systematics. Creatures and items adhere to these rules. This means that reactivity like the one you describe is always available to the player, it doesn't have to be scripted. Creatively solving problems is one of the things we envisioned when writing these systems. If systematics don't allow for it, we also use the N+1 design when it comes to solving situations. In short, this means that there should always be multiple ways to solve a problem, and that we need to take into account everything that could have already happened and anything the player can come up with. What does the player expect to be possible? Will there be awesome items like the golden pantaloons that you have to carry throughout the game, multiple games, to be able to unlock the full potential of the item? Golden pantaloons. We are creating unique items by hand. They will have special properties. I shouldn't go into details and promise golden pantaloons, so that's all I'm saying. Will the map be like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 where you travel to destinations, or will it be like Divinity where it's semi-open world? Semi-open world, yes, you explore a big region and then travel to the next huge area. In Divinity Original Sin, every character was able to take more than one action per turn. How generous do you plan to be with additional action points compared to PnP? In Baldur's Gate 3, we're going with the same action economy that 5e uses. A character generally can take one action, like attacking an enemy or casting a spell during their turn, and move up to their movement speed for free. Additionally, if they have a bonus action, they can do that too. Some classes get access to free additional attacks per turn. There's a lot of criticism on tone and story, which could be unwarranted due to only seeing 1 hour of gameplay. What are you doing to make sure the tone of the story has the soul of the original Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, which we all love, and not just D&D? At PAX East, you saw around 1 hour of what will become a very, very long story. In other words, you've seen nothing yet. Rest assured that the story of Baldur's Gate 3 is a dark epic rife with dark encounters, tough choices that will challenge your preconceptions about what it is to be a hero. In fact, I'd say heroic players will have a hard time staying on the righteous path, where fiendish players will simply have a ball. One of the strong themes of the Baldur's Gate series is the discovery of a darkness inside your character, and the choice of how to deal with what you are and what you may become. There's a very obvious interloper inside our player character, the Illithid Tadpole, and as your story unfolds, you'll soon realize that the ways it's changing you aren't quite what you expected. But just as in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, the dark sides of the story are balanced with romance, humor, heroism, catharsis. These are very large games and they contain a multitude of situations and tones. We're going to put you in some very dark places with some very unpleasant characters, but we'll show you a lot of beauty and wonder as well. Again, it'll be in no small part up to you how dark the game becomes. We don't actively encourage you to do terrible things, but it's certainly an option. Giving you the freedom to roleplay means we're already preparing to mop up a lot of blood. For those unfamiliar with the Baldur's Gate series, what would you say is the defining difference between the upcoming Baldur's Gate 3 and the Divinity series? The level of immersion. From the narrative to the depth of the systems and mechanics, we've never made a game before that brings you closer to its characters and offers more tools to the player to define the story the way you can in Baldur's Gate 3. This is really core, and the new version of our engine has allowed us to make huge leaps in every area of development, not to mention it's also using an entirely different rule set in an entirely different setting, of course, and it's a lot darker. You can do some really terrible things. That's really interesting to hear, guys, from the owner of Larian. It looks like they are putting a lot into this game. If you enjoyed Divinity Original Sin, my guess is this game will be better, and it will also be unique as well. Did Wizards of the Coast supply you with a full dictionary of Gith language, or did you develop some of the words yourself? We use existing Gith words when available, others we create ourselves. Wizards of the Coast gave us their blessing to expand on the various languages we can expect to encounter as we traverse the world of Baldur's Gate 3. It's been good fun contributing to Forgotten Realms vocabulary in this way. So that was the remaining questions and answers, guys. If I repeated a question from part 1, I apologize. There's so many questions and answers going through my head that I can't even remember even after watching part 1 again. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's a huge help to my videos. I do all sorts of gaming content on this channel, ranging from live streams to comedy videos to game tutorials to product reviews, etc. I would love to see some of you guys on a future video. Much more Baldur's Gate 3 content on the way. Until next time.